Hey guys, it's me. I'm back, and today I'm going to talk to you about sugar addiction and cravings. Mine are salty cravings, but everyone is different, and I want to talk about what this means and how we can curb them. Okay, so let's get into it right away. And one big thing, I read an article about, is sugar really that bad for you? Well, kind of. It's been tied to many different things. It's been tied to diabetes, obesity, hyperactivity, dental cavities, and all kinds of things. But I am not a doctor. I'm not a dentist. I'm not a therapist. But things I'm going to talk about today, about getting rid of the sugar and stuff and our emotions and stuff. So I'm going to talk about things that I have researched, found, learned along the way. And I'm just going to share them with you. So if you're up for that, stay here, stay tuned, stay with me. If not, I get it. This might not be the meeting for you. But so cravings, we all get them. That sudden urge to dive like head first into a bag of salty chips, right? Or the plate of sweet cupcakes with sprinkles and frosting and all of that kind of stuff. That might be your thing, right? We all get cravings. But why do we get sugar cravings? What makes us crave salty snacks? More importantly, how do we curb these cravings? A couple things we're going to talk about. So crowding out, we're going to talk about crowding out. We're going to talk about added sugars versus natural sugars. We're going to talk about a few things and homework kind of things to do. So you want to stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about emotional eating as well, and signs that you might be addicted to sugar. All right. Wow, lots of things to cover. So first, let's start with, how about signs? Let's start with the signs of a sugar eating, or just a sugar addiction, or just that you're eating too much sugar, okay? Things like you feel like a zombie, right? You wake up tired, so you grab a latte, and then soon after you're exhausted again. And it's just kind of this vicious cycle. So Rachel Hartley, she's registered dietitian and lots of acronyms after her name that I don't know. She says feeling tired all the time is a common sign of eating too much added sugar. And one of her colleagues compares overdoing it on sweet treats like Halloween candy is like The Walking Dead. So sugary foods gives us a boost in energy at first, but not long after, about 30 minutes after, you're going to come crashing down and turn into a zombie. Yeah. Nobody wants to feel like a zombie all the time. That sugar gives you that boost, and then you're just tired and exhausted when you crash, right? You're often hungry. I thought this was pretty interesting. So basically, when lunch rolls around, you're like starving, right? Despite the 2 snacks you ate after your morning coffee. Okay, so maybe you got some protein in your latte or whatever, and it held you over for a while. But it could be the sugar that you consumed in the morning, right? Maybe the sugar from, if you have a vanilla latte or something. I do like lattes, but I don't like vanilla, anything. So excessive intake of sugar often displaces other more nutrient-dense food. Okay, so basically sugar-rich food and coffees, drinks, anything like that is taking the place. Those are empty calories that are not helping to fuel your body. So you consume a lot of it and still feel hungry because your body still needs proper nutrition. So it's asking you for more and more and more, but it's not wanting the sugar. Your body needs some healthy intake. So it's constantly like, I'm hungry. And the third one is you can't stop blowing your nose. So all joking aside, when a cold is going around, do you seem to catch it every time? Or do you seem to get every bug that your kids bring home, despite being fairly healthy? Sometimes sugar can suppress the immune system and cause you to get sick more often. And that, again, is from polling. I mentioned Colleen Polling. Maybe I didn't mention her yet, but she's a colleague of Rachel Hartley. You're moody. That's kind of funny because the only time I'm moody, women, let's face, is during that time of month, I get moody. And that's the same time I want sugar. Coincidence? Maybe. All right, feeling grumpy or on edge for no reason. Surprisingly, sugar, which gives us pleasure when we eat it, can negatively impact our mood when we overdo it. And this is from Hartley again. Both depression and anxiety are linked to added sugar intake. Added sugars cause inflammation throughout the body, including the brain, and cause spikes in blood sugar, which can also affect your mood. Number 5, you can't seem to stop eating added sugar. If you crave the sweet stuff and just can't seem to get enough, it's a sign you may be eating too much sugar. Constant sugar cravings are the most common sign of overconsumption. And number 6, your weight loss has stalled. So guys, we are here to kick off our weight loss. We are not wanting this sugar to hold us back. So all calories are not created equal. If you're having a hard time shedding pounds, so they suggest looking at macronutrients balance, right? And that's what we are doing in the Ultimate Portion Fix. Our carbs, our healthy fats, our proteins, we are trying to keep balanced macros or macronutrients. A diet high in refined carbs and sugars and low in fat can keep on excess weight. Okay, guys, so we don't want a lot of that crappy processed white sugar. So if you're worried, if you're starting to worry that you're eating too much sugar, this is from Hartley. This is her advice. Moderate amounts of added sugar are not harmful to health and helps make eating a balanced, healthy diet more pleasurable. Think of things like honey drizzled over plain yogurt. She says maple syrup in your favorite homemade energy bar, or regular sugar in your famous recipe for chocolate chip cookies. So start small and cut back slowly, okay? That's what we're doing now. The Ultimate Portion Fix, we are using our containers and we are going to crowd out these sugar habits, these salty cravings that I go for. So I have found in the first couple weeks that the more healthy foods and water that I'm consuming, the less I have room for anything else. And that is the big idea that about crowding out, and that Autumn has been teaching. So let's see, where are we at now? I said I was going to talk about added sugars versus natural sugars. So guys, we're not talking about fruit, right? Fruit is a natural sugar. Now, of course, fruits, sweet potatoes, things like that are good for us, as long as we are not consuming too much. And that's another thing for the balanced macros, the Ultimate Portion Fix, because we are having healthier choices in our carbs. We are not just consuming lots of orange juice and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, there are also like great articles on the Beachbody On Demand, Beachbody blog. Like, is sugar really that bad for you? 6 signs is where I got this one from. 6 signs you might be eating too much. So feel free, go check those out. And let's talk about things, let's see. Let's talk about getting rid of them or realizing where they're coming from. Everyone was supposed to fill out the how I eat now prior to starting. Okay, I asked everyone to fill out this sheet. This is so you are starting to recognize where your calories are coming from. Some people are not realizing that they're drinking their calories. Let me back up. So, are you drinking your calories? Are you having too much soda? A lot of times you ask people to write down their food and they write down all the food, but they forget about the lattes, the sodas, the whatever it is, the fruit juices. Write it all down. And if you want help with it, I can help you, but start thinking about where these extra calories are coming from and where you can cut things out. Again, we're not cutting the calories or counting calories, but we are using the Ultimate Portion Fix containers so that we can keep a good balance, okay? So if you haven't filled that out yet, go ahead and do that. Also, we're going to talk about emotional eating. Again, I'm not a therapist or a doctor, but I mean, let's face it, emotional eating. Like, you're happy and you want to go out and celebrate, and lots of people go for dinners. But other ways you can do it is like go dancing, right? Hanging out with friends. Dance it out, celebrate. Food is tied with emotions, okay? So a lot of times when we're stressed, when we're bored, when we're angry, all of these things we choose to eat. When we're not feeling good about ourselves, we eat. And then we don't feel good about ourselves, so we eat. And it's another vicious cycle. What are some things you can do? So take a look at this sheet. I sent this in the group at the beginning also. If this emotion, then this action. If you are feeling stressed, what is something you can do besides overeating? Go exercise, go for a walk. You're not going to want to. I'm not saying that you're going to be like, I had a crappy day, I'm going to go feel better and go work out. I can remember, probably Steve just loves when I mention him on these things, but I can remember one day. Now, my husband does not get grumpy often. So those of you that know him know this is like a one-time thing. So he was just really kind of grumpy and down. I'm like, ugh, go jog. You'll feel better when you get back. So he came back from jogging. He's like, oh, thanks. It's just something like, just go release it. Go get it out, right? Another one, if you're feeling lonely, don't sit there with don't sit there with a bowl of ice cream. Invite friends, go meet them. Sometimes when you're feeling lonely, it's kind of like you just want to keep to yourself and feel even more lonelier. It's not really funny, but you see what I'm saying here. You're feeling lonely, so you sit lonely. You feel lonely. Make plans. Call me. Call a friend. Call somebody. Make plans. I know at this time it's hard. A lot of us are staying home a lot more. But you got to get out there and do things to make yourselves feel better. Self-care. I've been in this house for months and I have not taken a bath. Showers are faster and I just go, right? Last night I was just like, I'm super tired and feeling kind of blah. So I went and took a bath. Just chilled in the bathtub, hanging out, playing my Candy Crush. And you know what, guys? I came out feeling refreshed, much better. So I did have some mango, I don't know what kind of bath salt Sadie's gave me, but it made me feel a little bit better. So if you have this emotion, then pair it with this action. Okay? All right. Also, there was another sheet I talked to you about, I believe. If I haven't put this in the group, remind me and I will. I'm just going to talk about a couple of the questions and I'm going to have you guys out of here. So, for example, number 1, do you have food allergies or restrictions, or is there a specific diet you already follow? Like vegan, vegetarian, paleo. Why is that important? So it's important because if you have allergies or you're on a certain plan with a nutritionist or something, take the food list with you to the doctor or the nutritionist and cut out the foods you're not supposed to have. And you will find you'll still have plenty of foods to eat, okay? But you want to check with them to make sure you don't have any adverse reactions or, throw away a bunch of stuff that you're working on. What is your biggest obstacle or struggle with food? Guys, really think about this. And if you tell me, then that is something we can work on. I can help you with. So really think about what is your obstacle in getting healthy, in eating healthy. It could be anything for any of you. I mean, we're all different here. Number 3, are there any foods that you crave or can't resist? If there is, tough love, don't buy it at the store. Don't bring it to your house. Because guys, if you're crowding out and you're eating all this healthy food and you suddenly get a craving for a Snicker bar, well, if it's not in the house, then you're not going to be able to eat it. And then maybe you'll reach for something smaller or something else. Or you'll be like, man, I want this. I'm going to look up a Fix8 recipe that kind of matches this, that kind of goes with the craving that I'm feeling right now. Try some different alternatives. You have, those yellow substitutions. Give it a try. Let's see. Do you eat these foods even if you're not hungry or you are already full from a meal? Well, if yes, then we know you are dealing with some kind of addiction or craving or something. Because if you are full, then you don't need to eat all of this extra stuff, right? And guys, I'm not saying I'm not guilty of any of these, so just bear with me. I'm talking to all of us right now. Do you get frustrated, annoyed, or even mad when you think about cutting down on or eliminating a certain food? Yes. I get grumpy if someone tells me that my coffee is not good for me. One thing is Autumn often talks about orange juice. So when she was going through some training, she went and her coach told her no more orange juice. Like, she's in a competitive bikini fitness modeling stuff and everything. And so, orange juice is just not good. It's just full of sugar. So they told her no more orange juice. She said she got mad. Like she had real mad feelings about it. She was so upset. And she talks about it now, and she hasn't had any orange juice in 6 years or so. But she was talking about it, saying, I was mad at them. It was like a real feeling. So a sign maybe that you're angry. All right. Let's see. Number 6. Do you ever have anxiety around food or eating, or cope with negative feelings after having eaten? And this question is a little bit longer, but really quick. I'm not going to read all these because there are 14. But really quick, I used to get so worked up over going to a buffet because I know I always leave there like super stuffed and feeling crappy about myself. And luckily, when I met my husband, the mindset before meeting him was like, you eat, we paid for it, right? So you want to eat all that you can and get your money's worth. But when I met him, he's like, why? Why are you going to feel yuck about yourself? And yeah, we paid for it, but we didn't pay just to make us feel like crap. So I learned that to take what I want, and even if I paid a little bit overpriced because I didn't take big portions, oh well, I'm leaving there a lot happier than I would have if I overate. I know some of you have mentioned not wanting to waste food. If you are out to eat or something, then you take some to go. I know you can't really do that at buffets, but don't make it about, we paid for this, so we need to eat all we can. Take it home if you want. If you don't want to waste it, take it home if you want. So just my little tips and tricks. So I won't go through the rest of them, like I said, because there's a lot. But then the last thing underneath number 14 says, on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel about your answers to these questions? Are you embarrassed? Are you frustrated, defeated, super proud, encouraged? So give yourself some time to sit there and fill this out and really, really think about it. I think that could be a great resource for you. Now, of course, you need to enjoy your food. That's not what we're saying here. That's not what Autumn preaches at all. She is into a lot of different foods. But don't make everything about food. And that's always been hard for me. I'm like, we had a great day. Let's go out to eat, or let's celebrate. Let's go out to eat. And I've always made things about food. I think, it's from my dad and my parents. I think they show their love by feeding people. They're just amazing people, and they like, here, eat, and this is from us, and I think that's just the way I show my love. I want to feed people. So I make everything about food, and it's just something I need to work on. We did talk about emotions and cravings. So one thing I thought was interesting, and I kind of circling back around, but sometimes when you're sad, you want that dopamine. That's why you're reaching for sweets, right? Sometimes you're bored and the chips give you kind of something to do. So just realize sometimes these cravings are more emotional. You're sad, you're bored, you're happy, something like that. So food is tied to emotions, and that's about it, guys. We're eating every 2 to 3 hours, so there's not really enough room for a lot of crappy stuff. Try to keep away from it. Stay away from the white processed sugars. Right, if you have any questions, let me know. That's about all. All right, guys, much love. Go drink that water, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.